Hi guys, James at RampantLionReviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to head up to Stockholm and we're doing another visit to Omnipollo, and this beer normally is quite difficult to get a hold of in Sweden, so I'm glad that I'm finally able to try this one for you. So we're going to have a taste of the Fatamorgana today, which comes in at 8% ABV, and this one is an Imperial or Double IPA, however you want to describe it, and it should be really nice. It got 98 overall on Rate Beer and 94 within the style, so it should be pretty damn good. We know that Omnipollo do some really nice imperial stouts and things like this. The IPAs that they do, actually, I've had some really quite nice IPAs. The Zodiac is meant to be quite nice. The Nebuchadnezzar is a really nice beer as well, and of course I had the Neon as well, the Leon, sorry, which is a Belgian style IPA, which is really nice. So definitely looking forward to this one. This one of course was recommended to me by my friend Andreas at Ulri's, and he told me that I really needed to check out this one, so I'll put his link in the description below. Make sure you check out his blog, he's got some really nice stuff there. But definitely looking forward to this one. We know that Omnipollo do some good beers, so I hope you guys enjoy this review as well. But anyway, as is usual with my beer reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery. If you want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward of course. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my other Omnipollo reviews that I've done before. No doubt there will be more in the near future. There's all the usual social media. If you want to see more beer reviews, do subscribe to the channel of course. The whole channel has a geography based tagging system, so you can go into the homepage and search for beer based on country, city, state, whatever it is you're interested in. Do check out the playlist of beers from different countries. There is one there for all the Swedish beers that are reviewed for you. Of course, that's constantly being added to, and as always, please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review, especially from different places around Sweden that I may necessarily not have heard of. But it's always great to hear from you guys, and the support that you give the channel is hugely appreciated. So don't hesitate to get in touch through the Facebook, Twitter, Untappd, or whatever you want. It's always great to hear from you guys. But anyway, to tell you a little bit about Omnipollo then. So Omnipollo was founded back in 2011 by Henok Fenty, a long-time home brewer, and his friend Carl Grandin, who's actually a clothing designer. But the two met one day and they started talking about how insular the craft beer scene in Sweden was, and the whole idea that they wanted was to kind of reinvigorate it from a kind of a gastronomic sense and from a design sense as well. So to them, they say that the partnership between a home brewer and a clothing designer was very logical and made perfect sense to them. But the name of the brewery of course is derived from omnipotent chicken, so hence Omni and Pollo. Pollo of course is Spanish for chicken, and these guys are gypsy brewers, so they don't actually have their own facility, and rather they use the spare capacity at other breweries, and they brew many collaboration beers as a result of this. Actually, a lot of their beers are actually brewed, a lot of the big stouts are brewed at Dugas Brewery down near Gothenburg in Sweden. They brew things at Buxton over in England as well. I think there's a couple of beers are actually brewed over in America too. I think this one actually is normally brewed in America, but it looks like it has been brewed at Dugas actually near Gothenburg, just from the shape of the bottle. But yeah, they're exporting to lots of different countries these days. I think they're exporting to maybe 30 or 40 different places. These beers you can find them in Australia, you can find them over in America as well. So if you're interested in Swedish beer, Omnipollo is a really quite interesting place to start. They're always expanding. But they've also got their Omnipollo's Hat restaurant in Stockholm, which is a collaboration with Pizza Hut. This has a lot of the Omnipollo beers on tap of course, and you can get some really good pizza there as well. So hopefully I can go and visit that sometime when I'm up in Stockholm. So I still need to go up there. I've not been up there yet since I've moved to Sweden, but Omnipollo, like I say, you can pretty much pick a style of beer from these guys that you'll enjoy and you will think it's pretty good. But the most hyped beers of course are these big imperial stouts that they do with all the different kind of cake flavours and stuff, so those are ones that you probably really want to check out. So yeah, let's get on to the tasting of this one itself. I should point out, if you go on the website, they've maybe got about 30 or 40 different types of beer, so do make sure you have a look at that. So yeah, it should be nice. I'll just let you have a little quick look at the artwork of this one before we open it up. Let me just bring up the camera. There you can see it's the usual kind of minimalist sort of thing that you get from Omnipollo. I do have to admit I like the style of their artwork, and this one kind of reminds me, it's actually fairly similar to the artwork that was on the Trillium collaboration they did, the Outside the Lines. I think the Trillium artwork was actually based on this one, but you can see fairly simple on the back there. There's a little bit, tells you on the back they've got flaked oats in this one, some wheat malt, some unmalted wheat of course as well. But yeah, it should be nice. Plain bottle cap on this one. Like I said, I do suspect that this one has been brewed at Dugas, just because of the shape of the bottle. This is the same shape of bottle that a lot of the imperial stouts come in, and that's where a lot of them are brewed of course. But let's get this guy out and we'll go on with the tasting then. So yeah, a little bit of a smoky opening there, and we'll get it out and into the glass. So yeah, this is quite interesting actually. I'm not sure, I don't think this one is actually meant to be one of these New England IPAs, but it certainly pours in a very, very similar way, and it looks very much like it too. So as you can see, if I hold this up to the light, it's actually a very, you know, it looks just like pineapple juice or tropical fruit juice or something. It looks exactly like one of these New England style IPAs, although from what I gather, it is supposed to be just a straight up double IPA. As I said, it's 8%, very highly rated, so you can see just about a finger of a frothy white head on this one. It's not even creamy in colour, it is completely white. There's some big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass, quite a few little ones just going up towards the bottom of that head there. Overall it looks really, really quite nice, and there's some nice, there's a nice little bit of sediment kind of in the bottom there too. There's just a little bit, you can see a few little particles floating around, but if I put my fingers behind the glass on this one, you can see the beer is completely opaque, and you can smell some of these nice juicy fruits just as you move the beer around. So let's have a closer look at the aroma then before we try this one. Oh yeah, I do think this is supposed to be one of these New England IPAs. It doesn't say definitively on the website or anything like that, but it really does remind me of that particular style. Yeah. So with this one, to me, it's actually coming across as quite orangey. Oddly enough, I actually am getting a little bit of banana out of this one. I can smell just a little bit of a kind of banana note out of this one, almost like these banana flavoured sweets that you get. I can smell a little bit of that just underneath, which is quite unusual actually. There's a bit of grapefruit in there when you sugar the beer up. There's a good little bit of grapefruit coming out of this one, some passion fruits as well. I think there's mango too. You can smell a lot of these, I think there might be some citra hop in here, because you can smell the mango on the front end, and then you can smell these lighter, juicy tropical fruits that you'd normally associate with mango. Maybe there's some Amarillo in here, could be some Mosaic as well, right enough. It's got a little bit of the almost tangerine note that you expect from that. But then again, I think this beer has been around for a little while, and Mosaic's only really gained its popularity recently, so I might be wrong about that one, to be honest. But that's a really nice smelling beer. Just take a little bit of time and enjoy the aroma of this. But you can smell the sort of peaches, apricots. You know, I think there's a little bit of pineapple in there as well, to be honest. I'm getting a wee bit of lychee as well, which again is a typical kind of note of the citra hop. It's got a lot of these nice lighter tropical fruits that you associate with citra. I do think there's some Amarillo in there, maybe Mosaic as well. But there's definitely some grapefruit and passion fruit. Passion fruit, of course, would suggest Simcoe, which is a very popular hop these days too. But it smells really nice on the. It's dominated by the fruits, but of course you can pick up a little bit of a sort of piney resin character to this one. There's some nice floral aromaticity as well. A little bit of grassiness, and the malt base is quite interesting too. Like I was saying, I'm picking up a little bit of a kind of almost a little bit of that kind of bready bubblegum sort of thing, and of course when there is wheat malt in there, you would expect that. That's the sort of thing that you get from the thing. So in a way, this one, maybe it's a sort of New England style white IPA or something like that. I mean, the style doesn't matter. The most important thing is whether it's a good beer. But just take a bit of time and enjoy the aroma of this one, because it is very nice, and there's a lot going on actually. So yeah, some wheat malts in there. You can smell the sweetness from the wheat. A little bit of biscuity character as well, some white bread, and you can smell sort of grainy character as well. It is quite a nice smelling beer, this one. So yeah, this is really nice. So yeah, let's get stuck into this one. I've spent too much time doing the aroma. So this one is the Fatamorgana from Omnipollo in Stockholm in Sweden. Swedish gypsy brewers. Skål! Oh, that's nice. Yeah, that's really interesting. The malt base on that is really quite different from any other kind of IPA and stuff that I can think of. I'm not sure whether to say this is one of the New England style IPAs. It certainly does have some of the characteristics about it there, but I just love how the malt base in this one comes out. This is a really good beer. You'll find that straight off. Oh, that is really nice. You know, if you get the chance to try this beer, buy one and just have a go at it for yourself. This is good. The malt base on this is really what's interesting. So in the middle of your palate, where all these malty flavours are going to come out, you can feel the sort of white bready base to this one. You can feel a little bit of that kind of, you can feel the wheat character just blanketing the tongue. It's a little bit sweet actually. I think there's a little bit of biscuit right in the middle of the palate there. And you can feel some of these oaty, it's just a little bit of slight graininess in there as well. You can feel these nice oaty flavours coming out. It's a really just nicely done beer. The malt base in this one for me is what makes it quite unique. It's not the most hoppy, I would say. It's not the hoppiest of double IPAs and New England style IPAs, if it does indeed fit into that category. It's not the hoppiest beer I've come across right enough. But that's good. Yeah, that's nice. It's just got a good balance. As I've always said on my channel, I really love it when an IPA can find a good balance between the malt and give you that little bit of sweetness, but also with a nice hoppy bitterness. And for me, it really does get that. It puts the eye, it just lets you go through the eye of the needle there. It's just got the right balance to it, and it's very nice. And like I say, the oaty characters in this one, the oaty flavours are coming out, and that's what makes this beer to me a little bit quirky. I'm not getting the banana flavours that I was expecting a little bit when I checked out the aroma. It's more just a nice kind of wheaty character that's coming out of this one. That white sort of IPA category to this one, it does seem to suit it a little bit, but it's almost a bit more like a white kind of New England style IPA. It almost tastes as if the beer has a little bit of lactose added to it, which is quite interesting, but I think it doesn't say on the back, and I'm sure it doesn't say that it has lactose on it. Yeah, just sort of corn malts and unmalted wheat and malted wheat and all this sort of thing. There's no lactose in this, but you could taste this beer and mistake it for having a little bit of that. But it's damn good. So with the hoppy side of things, it's got what you'd expect. It's actually very smooth on the edges of your palate. The hops, as I always say, come out around the edge of your palate. There's a little bit of grassiness around the front curve of your palate, and down the sides it mainly is floral. There's a little bit of spicy character in there, but not too much. It's not such a bitter beer, this one, like I was saying. It actually comes in, the beer comes in very wet, it bitters out, and then it just smooths out again as you progress into the aftertaste. So just be aware of that with this one. It's just quite nice how it works out, but mainly it's floral, a little bit spicy. There's not really a herbal character or anything coming out of this one. It is mainly just a nice, slightly spicy floral character. Maybe there's Columbus or something like that in this beer, but really nicely done on the hoppy side of things. With the fruits are quite interesting in this one. To me, it leans really towards the orangey side of things. I do suspect there's Amarillo in here, or maybe Mosaic. It has a little bit of the kind of richer oranges that normally you would get from Amarillo, but at the same time, it's got a little bit of the tangerine character that you would expect of Mosaic. I might be wrong right enough, but I do think that the main point is that there is orangey flavour in there. I might be wrong about what hops they're using, but there's passion fruit in there. Underneath, and as you progress into the aftertaste, you can feel a little bit of grapefruit coming out. There's that sort of slightly sour, dark flavour that you get from grapefruit there. I can feel that just on the little oily bubble behind the very front of my tongue. You can feel that just as that starts to fade away. You start to get a little bit of the grapefruity character in there. There's definitely some mangoes, sort of peaches, apricots, a little bit of pineapple in there, I think, as well. And I'm getting some sort of lychee as you move in. Pardon me, as you move into the aftertaste as well. But I mean, the flavours in this beer blend together really well. These lighter tropical fruits, they mix particularly well with the sort of nice sweet wheaty and white bready character that this beer has in the malt base. I mean, a simple way to kind of summarise this beer is that it's really nice, and it's the malt base, the flavours that you get from the malt base, that make this one kind of quite unique. I mean, the hops are actually quite smooth. The floral character and the hops in this one is quite nice as well. But I mean, basically, it's a really good beer, and you need to try it for yourself and see how it comes across, because it is a little bit quirky in my opinion. In terms of the mouthfeel of this one, I would say this guy is probably, I think it's mid-bodied, maybe pushing the higher end of mid-bodied actually. It's got soft carbonation, which again is kind of what you'd expect from the style. It's got a good mix between, it's a slightly more oily one, this, I would say, than some of the other sort of New England or white IPAs, or however you want to term this one. It's a little bit more smooth but also oily, this one, in my opinion. Malt base, like I said, is very smooth. It's also got a good bit of sweetness to it. The hops, it's not too bitter in that kind of sense. There is a little bit of bitterness at the start, then it just smooths out, like I was saying, but there's a lot of juicy fruity character to this one. In particular, the interesting point on the mouthfeel is how the fruits and the sweetness from the malt base go together, and that sweet character that you get from the malt base, and particularly the oaty flavours and the nice wheat, is what really sets this beer apart and makes it a little bit unique. So if you get the chance to try this one, then I do recommend that you do. It's another really solid beer from Omnipollo, and you know, I certainly wouldn't hesitate to drink it again. So yeah, give this beer a go if you get the chance. I wouldn't expect anything less from these guys either. So yeah, and been really cool to review another Omnipollo beer for you here on the channel. Hope you've enjoyed my review. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Do check out all my usual social media and things like that. Let me know your own thoughts on this beer in the comment section below if you've tried it for yourself. It's always interesting to hear from you guys, like I said, and do let me know what other Omnipollo beers that you guys would like to see me review, and do check out the other ones that I have reviewed already. So yeah, until the next time, Slanger just now. This is the Fatamorgana, a really nice, interesting double IPA from Omnipollo with some really interesting wheat malts and a really just interesting malt base of this one. So do make sure you check it out for yourself. Until the next time, Slanger just now, and I will catch you guys very soon with more beer reviews. Cheers.